The open-plan living room was always bustling with friends and colleagues. I had worked for 12 years in software engineering to be able to buy this house, a modest 3-bedroom house in a decent neighborhood. Not luxurious, but it was mine. The mortgage was in my name. Each payment was made from my salary, bonuses, and finally matured stock options. On the shelf above the fireplace, I arranged my professional awards. Employee of the Year from my first company, Innovation Award from my second, patent plates for 3 different software solutions I developed, and a framed letter from a CEO thanking me for saving the company $2 million a year by redesigning the system. My brother Ryan arrived late with his wife and 9-year-old daughter Sophie. He came in through the front door, looked around my new house, and I saw his jaw clench. He didn't congratulate me. He didn't say he was proud. He simply asked where the food was. I was in the kitchen refilling the appetizer trays when I heard the crash. The glass shattered. Multiple pieces fell onto the hard wooden floor. I entered the living room and froze in my place. Sophie stood in front of the fireplace. 3 of my awards lay shattered at her feet. In her hands was one of my patent plates, held high above her head. She shouted at the top of her lungs, "My dad says you're just lucky. My dad says you didn't work for any of this. My dad says some people are just lucky." Then she threw the painting down. It collided with the stone fireplace and split cleanly in 2. I looked at Ryan. He stood near the entrance with his arms crossed. As I watched, he pointed his thumb at Sophie. "It's no secret. Not hidden." A clear sign of approval in front of 30 people. My colleagues stared at me. My friends looked uncomfortable. As for my manager, whom I had invited to celebrate with me, he stood with his mouth slightly open. She smiled. Then she turned towards the broken trophies and carefully picked up the pieces so that no one would cut themselves on the glass. I told the audience, "It's okay, accidents happen." After that, I went up to my home office, took my laptop and phone, and left through the side door. I got into my car and drove away from the opening party of my new house. I ended up in a restaurant that was open 24 hours a day. I ordered coffee. Then I opened my laptop and logged into my banking portal. 4 years ago, Ryan started a landscaping business. He had been working in construction, hated his boss, and believed he could achieve greater success on his own. He was ambitious. What he lacked was capital. He had no valuable credit history, no significant assets, and nothing to offer as collateral. I was asked to act as guarantor for a $50,000 business loan. The money would cover the costs of trucks, lawnmowers, soil aerators, trailers, and equipment needed to run a professional landscaping business. I initially refused. I was saving to buy a house, and I didn't want my financial future to be tied to the risks of his business. Then my mother intervened. Then my father. Then Ryan's wife. The pressure continued for weeks. "He is your brother. Family helps family. You're making good money. You can take the risk. He will return it. Don't you want to see him succeed?" In the end, I gave up. I did not sign as a mere guarantor. The bank asked for more than that. Given Ryan's poor credit history and lack of collateral, I became the primary guarantor. My origins, my credit balance, my financial reputation, everything was supported by this loan. Ryan made his payments for 6 months. Then they started arriving late. Then he made a mistake in one completely. The bank called me. To protect my credit record, I covered it up. Ryan promised me that he would return the favor. He never did that. Over the next 4 years, I covered 8 overdue installments. The total amount was $6,400, and it was paid directly from my pocket. I was paying off the loan regularly. I have protected my credit record. It has ensured the continuity of its work. He never compensated me even once. Instead, he spent his time at family gatherings telling everyone how serious he was about his work, how he built his company from scratch, how some people are self-made while others have been lucky in office jobs. I sat in that restaurant, opened the loan documents, and reviewed the guarantee agreement. Then I drafted an email to the bank. I have officially withdrawn from my position as guarantor of the loan. I have cited the termination clause contained in the agreement. I requested that standard collection procedures be initiated against the principal borrower. I attached the supporting documents and sent the email. 3 minutes later, I called the bank's 24-hour business line. The supervisor confirmed receipt of the notification. I have verified my identity and acknowledged that withdrawing my guarantee will result in immediate default because Ryan lacks the credit and sufficient collateral to independently support the loan. The supervisor explained that the account would be transferred to the collection department and asset recovery procedures would begin. I asked how long this process usually takes. She replied, 48 to 72 hours after the default notification. I thanked her and ended the call. Then I sat in the restaurant until midnight. After that, I checked into the hotel. I had no desire to go home and listened to Ryan explaining to everyone how lucky I was. On Monday morning, my phone started ringing. Ryan called at 8:30. I ignored it. He called 6 more times. His voice messages evolved from confusion to panic. My mother called me at exactly 9:15. Ryan says men came and took his trucks. What's going on? Do you have any information about this truck recovery company? He defaulted on his loan. What? How? I made 8 payments on his loan over 4 years. $6,400. I was the guarantor. I withdrew my guarantee. The bank demanded repayment of the loan. You simply cannot do that. Actually, I can. His business needs those trucks. He should have thought about that before allowing his daughter to destroy my awards while he was praising her. Man, this is just childish behavior. No. Sophie repeated exactly what Ryan has been saying about me for years. That I haven't earned anything. That I've just been lucky. She's destroyed awards that represent 12 years of work. He was joking. He was teaching his daughter that my achievements didn't matter because supposedly they were just luck. I stopped. Meanwhile, I had been supporting his business ventures for 4 years. Silence. Then she asked, "Where will he get the trucks from now?" That's not my problem. I hung up. By Tuesday, my phone was full of calls and messages. Ryan informed the family that I had sabotaged his business. He claimed that I destroyed his livelihood because of a childish mistake. My father called me. "You need to fix this." Why? Ryan has employees. People depend on him. I have relied on him to fulfill his obligations for 4 years. You can't simply pull the rug out from under him. I didn't. I stopped lifting it. He is your brother. He spent years describing my career as a mere coincidence while living off my financial support. On Wednesday evening, Ryan came to my house. I watched him through the front window as he banged loudly on the door. I did not answer. For 20 minutes, he alternated between shouting and banging on the door. "I know you're inside. We need to talk. You will not be able to destroy my work." In the end, I called the non-urgent police emergency number. An officer arrived and asked him to leave. Before he drove off, Ryan shouted one last sentence. "It's not over yet." On Thursday, he received a call from his wife. She was crying. "Please. Ryan has 3 employees. One of them recently had a baby. You're causing people to lose their jobs." I replied, "No, Ryan did it. He is suffering. So he shouldn't have built a business that couldn't survive without me. He needs help." He received help. For 4 years. And while he was relying on that help, he was mocking the person who was providing it. I hung up. The bank called on Friday. The loan officer informed me that Ryan wants a meeting. He hoped I would reactivate my guarantee. Without that, the loan will remain in default. I agreed to the meeting. Monday morning at 9 o'clock. I arrived 15 minutes early. Ryan had already taken his seat in the meeting room. His appearance was horrendous. Unshaven. Wrinkled clothes. Dark circles under his eyes. The loan officer started the discussion. "Your brother would like to discuss the possibility of reactivating your guarantee." I nodded. Ryan leaned forward. "Please. I'm sorry about the awards." Sophie didn't understand. She's just a child. I shouldn't have laughed. I didn't say anything. I have employees. Contracts. I need those trucks. The trucks have already been sold at a public auction, the loan officer said calmly. Ryan stared at him. Then he looked at me. "Help me get new shoes. Reactivate the warranty. I'll pay off all the installments. I'll pay you back all the debt I owe. You owe me money for 4 years. I know. She never paid a single dollar. I'll do it now. She has never acknowledged religion before. I was just talking. You were teaching your daughter." His face darkened. "She didn't come up with the phrase 'my dad says you're lucky' on her own." Silence filled the room. Finally, Ryan spoke. "I'm sorry. I will tell people that you worked hard. I'll tell Sophie. Just help me save my job." "No." His eyes widened. "What?" "No. I will not reinstate the warranty. I don't agree with anything. I do not provide financial support. You are alone now. Are you really going to let my business collapse because of this? Your business died because it couldn't survive without my credit. If removing my support will destroy it, then it was never stable in the first place. I have a family. So do I. I have employees. So do I. I have a career that I spent 12 years building. I have valuable achievements. I have a house that I earned through my own hard work. None of that came from luck. He came home from work. I'm done allowing you to belittle this work while you profit from it." Ryan suddenly stopped. "The family will hear about this. They already did. But what you didn't tell them is that I spent 4 years covering your late payments. You didn't tell them that I paid over $6,000 to keep your company afloat. They didn't tell them that if it weren't for me, there wouldn't have been any trucks left to recover." I stood up too. "You can start over, Ryan. Look for a job. Save money. Building credit. Do it properly. But you're doing it without my guarantee. And without my money. Without attributing my success to luck." Then she left. 3 weeks later, Ryan's company officially closed its doors. He sold the remaining equipment to settle the obligations and pay the final wages. In the end, he accepted a job working for one of his former rivals as a team leader. In family gatherings, stopped talking about entrepreneurship. When people asked what had happened to the company, He gave vague answers about restructuring and market conditions. The issue of repossession was never mentioned. The warranty was never mentioned. He never mentioned me. 6 months later, Sophie sent me an apology letter. It is clear that it was written under adult supervision. But she seemed sincere. I apologized for breaking my awards. She said she learned that actions have consequences. I replied to him with a message. I thanked her. She explained that the awards represent years of work, dedication, and perseverance. It's not luck. I never mentioned her father's job. She had already learned that lesson through her own personal experience. I eventually replaced the patent plates. The other prizes were original and could not be exchanged. I kept the broken pieces in a box in my office. Reminder. It is not an act of betrayal, but within limits. A reminder that family support is not unlimited. Empowering someone is not the same as loving them. Today, Ryan and I exchanged nothing but holiday greetings. His wife doesn't call. Sophie waves to me with an awkward gesture when we meet from time to time. My parents eventually stopped pressuring me to reconcile. I think they have finally realized something important. I did not cause Ryan to go bankrupt. Ryan did it. He built his success story on what I accomplished, ignoring everything I achieved. I still own my house. I am still working in my office job, which is supposed to bring me luck. I still occasionally receive awards for work that Ryan would probably consider luck rather than skill. Ryan is still working for someone else. He no longer tells people how he built a business from scratch. Because the truth is that he did not build it out of nothing. He built it with my money, my guarantee, and my willingness to have my words taken seriously. When those things were pulled out, there was nothing left to connect them. Some people describe that as cruel. I call it reality. You cannot spend years standing on someone's foundations while mocking the work that built those foundations, and then pretend to be shocked when they step aside. Ryan didn't fall because I pushed him. He fell because I stopped supporting him while he was insulting the support that kept him standing. This is not cruelty. This is simply the effect of gravity.
अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ गए जो दिन सहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा बेसर्द लगता है दिल का हर एक कोना अब बहुत ही दूर भरता है अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ मैं ये जो दिन सुहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा सर्द लगता है दिल का हर एक कोना बहुत ही दर्द भरता है मेरे साए भी मुझसे अब जुदा होने को कहते हैं तुझे खोने की राहों में ये आंसू बहने लगते हैं कहाँ जाऊं कहाँ ढूंढूं मेरा वो साजो सामा तो मेरी हर एक तमन्ना तू मेरी रूह का मका तू लकीरों में नहीं लिखा जो तुमने ख्वाब देखा था वफा की इस कहानी में फकत एक गम ही लिखा था सितारों से भी पूछता है पता तेरा कहाँ होगा मगर खामोश है दुनिया कहाँ मेरा जहाँ होगा बस एक बार मुड़ के देख ले मेरी बेबसी की सूरत मुझे है आज भी तेरी वफा की सख्त जरूरत साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर, हंसाए मेरे तन्हा सफर, बस रह गया दर्द का असर, दर्द का असर।